Hi, folks. Wendy Spurgeon here with a very special treat for you today. It's Silver City Community Theater's loving homage to Dragnet. This episode, titled The Big Sisters, originally aired on May 31st, 1955. Our cast includes Greg Jarrett and Monty Valenzuela as Fenn and Gibney, our announcers, Jim McQuaid as Sergeant Joe Friday, Mel Gelb as Officer Frank Smith, Phyllis McQuaid as Martha Dunbetter, Sarah Thrasher as jingle singer and aspiring actress Tina Mio, Greg Jarrett as our suspect, Ralph Portlong, Monty pipes in as the voice at the station, and the effervescent Shelley Chase as Bessie Maxon. Enjoy a fresh take on a radio classic, Dragnet, The Big Sisters.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to Burglary Detail. An elderly woman reports that a man has stolen $300 from her apartment. She says she saw him. Your job? Check it out. Halo Shampoo presents the inside story of the Lonesome Mermaid.
What can I do about my hair? It's so dull and stringy looking, sailors never whistle at me anymore. And for a mermaid, that's serious.
Look, Toots, here's the answer to your problem. Use Halo shampoo. Soapy dulls hair. Halo glorifies it.
Halo makes natural beauty the first time that you use it. You need no special rinsing after you use it. So Halo, everybody, Halo. Halo shampoo, Halo. Halo, everybody, Halo. Halo is the shampoo that glorifies your hair. So Halo shampoo, Halo.
Remember, Halo leaves hair fragrant, dandruff-free, and wonderfully easy to manage. Because Halo's not a soap or an oily cream.
So Halo, everybody, Halo. Halo shampoo, Halo.
Hi, I'm Margaret Lindsay. If you'd like someone to sort of whistle at you, let Halo shampoo help you out. Because Halo leaves your hair soft and fragrant, shining with colorful highlights. Glorify your hair with Halo, America's favorite shampoo.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime, for the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case, transcribed from official police files, from beginning to end, from crime to punishment. Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Thursday, May 19th. It was sunny in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of Burglary Detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Bernard. My name's Friday. We were on our way out from the office, and it was 3:47 p.m. when we got to a small apartment house on the corner of Olympic and 6th. The Topeka Arms.
What was the lady's name again, Joe?
Dumbetter. Martha Dumbetter.
Let's see. Oh, yeah. Here's some mailbox. Number 8.
Must be upstairs.
How do you figure that?
Only 8 mail slots means 8 apartments.
Yeah.
Stands to reason number 8 will be on the second floor, doesn't it?
Oh, well, I suppose so. Wonder who comes from Kansas.
Hmm.
Didn't you notice the plaque out in front? Topeka Arms.
Yeah,
That's a city in Kansas, Joe. Topeka, Kansas.
sure.
Well, somebody must have come from there. The owner or the builder? Why else would they give the place a name like that?
I don't know.
Stands to reason, doesn't it?
I guess so.
You see, you're not the only one who can do it.
Do what?
Deduce.
Oh,
That's what they call it. The way you figured out number 8 is on the second floor. Deduction.
uh-huh.
I was just giving you another example. When I proved that somebody connected with the building used to live in Kansas.
Yeah,
Deduction. Works all the time. See? Right down there. Number 8, just like you said,
uh-huh.
never fails.
Who's there?
Police officers, ma'am.
Oh, just a second. I'm coming. My goodness, you certainly got back in. Oh, dear me. You aren't the same ones, are you?
No, ma'am. This is Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
There were 2 other policemen here just a little while ago. It's a shame you didn't know. You could have saved yourselves a trip.
That's all right. We knew they'd be here.
You did?
Yes, ma'am.
They're patrol car officers. They were in the neighborhood, so they answered your call.
Well, I just don't see why you had to bother yourselves too.
It's no bother, ma'am. All right if we come in?
Oh my, yes, please do. Just imagine all 4 of you trying to help me get my money back. Certainly makes a body feel important.
Did the other officers say where they were going?
I'm not sure. I wasn't able to follow everything they said.
Uh-huh.
Something about a canvas. Yes, I believe that was the word.
They meant they were going to canvass the area for the suspect?
Suspect?
The man who stole your money.
Oh, but I don't just suspect him, officer. I know he did it. I saw him.
Yes, ma'am. You're Mrs. Martha Dunbetter. Is that right?
No, not exactly.
Oh?
It's Miss Dunbetter. I'm still single.
Uh-huh.
Would you mind telling us just what happened this afternoon, Miss Dunbetter?
Oh, no, I don't mind at all. It's still quite clear.
Yes, ma'am.
You see, when a person gets to be my age, well, sometimes you aren't able to remember every little detail.
Uh-huh.
But a thing like this, it sort of sticks out.
Sure.
Go ahead, please.
What was that, young man?
Go ahead. About this afternoon.
Oh, well, now let's see. I fixed myself some lunch, and then I finished up the dishes. It must have been about 1 o'clock by the time I finished.
Yes, ma'am.
Afterwards, I put on my hat and went down to the library. It's only a couple of blocks from here, the Grover Cleveland branch.
Uh-huh.
I took back my books and checked out 2 fresh ones. There isn't much of a selection. It's a small branch.
I see.
Of course, they're very nice to me. I've been going there for quite a spell.
Sure.
And they'll order things from downtown if you ask them to. But then you have to wait several days, and I wanted some reading matter for now. So I picked out 2 novels. Actually, they're stories I've read before. But I'll enjoy them just the same, and I won't have to concentrate quite so much.
Yes, ma'am. What happened next?
I came home, and there he was.
Ma'am?
That awful man.
Oh, well, just where was he?
Here, in my apartment.
I meant which room?
Over there, the bedroom.
I see.
I guess he didn't hear me let myself in. I always try to move around as quietly as possible, even in the afternoons. People sometimes like to take a nap.
Uh-huh.
Not that you can do much napping in this building. Radios blasting, television, Victrola records. Why, that girl downstairs even has a dog. A dog in an apartment house. It isn't fair to the animal, let alone the other tenants.
You said this man was in your bedroom.
Yes, that's right. That's where he was. As soon as I came in, I heard him. At least I heard somebody moving around. At first, I thought it was Mrs. Parker, the manager. I know she sneaks into my apartment and noses around. Of course, she says she doesn't, but I know better.
Uh-huh.
Well, I said to myself, I've got her red-handed this time. So I marched into the bedroom all ready to give her a piece of my mind. I was never so flabbergasted in my whole life. He was standing in front of the dresser going through my pocketbook.
I see.
My black patent leather. That's the one he was holding.
Uh-huh.
I didn't say anything, not at first. I was too taken aback. But I guess I must have made a noise. Anyway, he turned around, all of a sudden. And when he looked at me, my voice sort of came up into my mouth. What are you doing here? I asked him point blank. Just what do you think you're doing? He didn't answer. He only grinned and went on going through my handbag. I suppose he figured I was a harmless old lady and couldn't stop him.
How much money was in the purse?
I'm not positive. Not to the penny. About $300.
In cash?
Yes, sir. You see, I've been saving dimes for the last 15 years.
You mean this $300 was in dimes?
Goodness gracious, no. What I do is I go through my change every night and I put all the dimes in my dime bank. Then when it's full, I take it down to a real bank and change the coins into bills. The dime bank holds $25.
I see.
You'd be surprised how much a person can save that way. It mounts up.
Yes, ma'am. Do you know the denominations of the bills?
I guess they were mostly tens, maybe one or two bigger ones.
Why'd you keep that much cash on hand?
When you're my age, you never know what's going to happen. A person gets sick, has to go to a hospital. You need cash at a time like that.
Uh-huh. Now, what did this man do next, Miss Dunbetter?
Well, he found the money, my $300, and stuffed it into his pockets. That's where I kept it, in my black patent leather.
I see.
I told him if he didn't put it back, I'd call the police. That didn't seem to worry him a bit. Afraid I won't be able to stick around till they get here, Granny. That's what he said to me. Then he just strolled out of the apartment as big as life. I was too dumbfounded to do anything about it.
I understand.
I heard him tramp down the stairs, and then I heard the front door slam. When I was sure he was out of the building, I managed to get my wits together and dialed Central.
Central?
The operator. She put me in touch with the police station.
Had you ever seen this man before, Miss Dunbetter?
No, I'm sure I never did.
Could you tell us what he looked like?
I told the other officers.
Yes, ma'am. We'd like to hear it too.
Well, he was a tall man.
How tall?
As big as you, I'd say.
What color hair?
Dark, very dark.
Eyes?
Dark eyes, too. Dark complected. Like he'd spent a lot of time outdoors.
How was he dressed?
A shirt and pants and a jacket. A light-colored jacket. I think it was green.
Did you notice any scars?
Yes, come to think of it, I did. Across his forehead, a thin little ziggity-zag.
How old would you say he was?
Oh, he was young. 35, maybe 40.
Do you know if anyone else saw him? The other tenants?
I haven't talked to any of them. I haven't left the apartment since it happened.
You live alone, do you?
Oh my, no. My sister Bessie stays with me.
Where is she this afternoon?
She went out of town for a few days to visit her grandson and his family. They came down from Oxnard this morning to get her.
I see.
Tomorrow's her birthday. She'll be 80. I suspect they're going to have quite a celebration.
Yes, ma'am.
Of course, they invited me along, but I didn't want to intrude. After all, it's Bessie's birthday, not mine.
Sure.
When I turn 80, I don't suppose anybody will lift a finger to give me a party the way they're all carrying on. You'd think it was such an accomplishment. They're even going to put her picture in the paper and write an article about her.
Well, it's a pretty ripe old age.
I don't see what's so ripe about it. After all, I'm nearly 79 myself. Oh, I know, I don't look it. Everybody thinks there's at least 10 years between us. And Bessie is failing.
Yes, ma'am. Just a couple more questions, Miss Dumbetter.
Certainly, young man, certainly.
What time was it when you got home from the library?
2:45. Maybe a few minutes after. No later than 3, though.
I see. How did you get into the apartment? Was the door locked?
I thought it was. I always try to remember to lock it whenever I go out, but sometimes I do forget. I guess I did today.
Uh-huh. Do you think you'd recognize the burglar if you saw him again?
I most assuredly would. There's nothing the matter with my eyesight. It's as good as it ever was. My faculties aren't impaired, I'm happy to say.
That's fine. We'd like to take you down to the office with us and show you some pictures
Oh,
to see if you can identify him.
I couldn't go like this. I'll have to change my dress first. Oh, I'm all right for walking around the neighborhood, but not for going downtown.
That's up to you, ma'am. Try not to touch anything in the bedroom.
Why not?
We'll have a crew from the crime lab check for fingerprints, the pocketbook especially.
Oh, well, I'm sure you won't find any.
Ma'am?
He was wearing mittens, gloves.
Well, we'll check anyway.
Say, Miss Dunbetter, while I think of it, who came from Kansas?
Kansas?
It doesn't have anything to do with the case. I was kind of curious, that's all.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
Well, the name of this apartment is the Topeka Arms. So I figured somebody connected with it must have come from Kansas.
Oh,
You don't know who it was, do you?
now let me think. Oh, yes, I remember. That was old Mr. Henrikson's idea.
You don't say.
Yes, he was the man who built this building. That was, oh, goodness sakes, almost 35 years ago. My, how time flies. I just can't believe I've lived here that long. You see, I was practically the first person to move in.
Yes, ma'am. And this Mr. Hendrickson came from Kansas, did he?
No, Minnesota. Minneapolis, as I recollect.
Oh,
But it was his idea just the same, calling it the Topeka Arms, on account of an article he read in the newspaper while the building was going up. Remember him showing it to me. Poor Mr. Henriksen, gallbladder.
ma'am?
That's what took him, his gallbladder. 1936.
Oh,
The building's never been kept up properly since.
well, what was his reason for calling it the Topeka Arms?
That newspaper write-up,
Yes, ma'am.
it said there were more people in Southern California who came from Kansas than from any other state.
Uh-huh.
So Mr. Henriksen figured the name Topeka would attract a lot of tenants. Ridiculous nonsense. I said so at the time. There hasn't been a single solitary one.
Oh,
35 years, not a soul from Kansas has ever lived here.
4:05 p.m., Frank and I put in a call to the crime lab. While Miss Dumbetter changed her dress, we checked the other apartments to see if anyone else had seen the burglar. On the second floor, only one tenant was in. Mrs. J.T. Blade, apartment 6, informed us that she had been out marketing at the time of the crime and had just returned home. We went down to the first floor and stopped at apartment 1.
Who is it?
Police officers.
Oh, for Pete's sake, come on in. And cut out the corny jokes, will you, George? Hey, say, who the heck are you?
Police officers.
Mickey, get down, Mickey. Get away from there. I'll have him shut in the bedroom or you'll never get a minute's peace. He's just no good with strangers. Now get in there. Are you guys for real?
My name's Friday. This is my partner, Frank Smith. Here's the identification.
Oh, looks like I goofed. I've got such crazy friends. They're always pulling gags.
Sure.
Do you rent this apartment, ma'am?
That's a matter of opinion. The way the other tenants check up on everything that goes on in here, you think they was paying the bills.
Have you been in all afternoon?
All day for that matter. Except for a couple of hours this morning when I went down to the unemployment office to file my claim.
I see.
I'm a model and do a little acting in pictures. Right now I'm having a dry spell.
Uh-huh.
Tina Mio, that's my professional name. Have you ever heard of me?
Afraid not.
Lousy press agent. Gonna make me famous overnight. $10 a week I've been paying him for over 6 months now. If I died, he couldn't get me an obituary notice.
You're sure you've been here all afternoon?
Yeah, why?
Did you see anybody come into the building around 3 o'clock?
Nope.
Hear anybody?
Friday ain't gonna be much use to you. I've got a late date tonight, so I was storing up a little extra sleep time. Just woke up a few minutes ago.
Well, have you noticed any strangers hanging around this neighborhood lately?
What kind of strangers?
How about a middle-aged man? Tall, dark hair, scar on his forehead?
If he's been around, I haven't run into him.
Do you usually keep your door locked?
Sure, when I'm out.
Was it locked this afternoon?
You walked in, didn't you?
Yes, ma'am.
What are you guys building up to?
One of the tenants has reported a burglary.
In this apartment house?
That's right.
Holy smoke! It'd be just my luck at a time like this. Now, where the heck's my pocketbook? I know I had it with me this morning.
That's it over the desk?
Oh, yeah, thanks. 5, 10, 11. I guess it's all there. What little there is. Looks like I got a break for once. That's a switch.
Yes, ma'am. Well, sorry if we bothered you.
Hey, wait a minute. You're holding out on me.
How's that?
Who got taken?
Oh, Miss Dunbetter, apartment 8.
Done better.
Uh-huh.
Wouldn't you know it, one of the yak yak girls. Morning, noon, and night, yak, yak, yak. They don't even stop for punctuation marks.
Oh?
For the last 6 months, that sister of hers has been jawing about her 80th birthday. I'm beginning to feel 80 myself. Now they have a new subject. Brother, I'll hear about this burglary till it comes out of my ears. You know something, mister?
Hmm?
I'd be better off if he'd robbed me.
Frank and I checked the other 3 apartments on the first floor. None of the tenants was at home. 4:16 p.m., the patrol car officers who would answer the call returned to the building. They reported that they had been unable to find anyone answering the suspect's description in the immediate vicinity. A few minutes later, Jones and a crew from the crime lab arrived. They began their investigation and we drove Miss Dunbetter down to the city hall. We checked the oddity file and ran the suspect description and MO throughout the stats office, and they came up with 17 possibilities. We pulled mugshots and showed them to Miss Dunbetter. She was unable to make an identification. 6:13 p.m. Lee Jones reported no useful fingerprints or other physical evidence in the apartment. 6:46 p.m. We drove Miss Dunbetter home and went off to duty. Next day, May 20th, 11:17 a.m. I've got it. Burglary, Friday. Who? Oh, sure. Yeah. When did he come in? Uh-huh. I see. Oh? I don't know. What's he look like? Uh-huh. Yeah, we'd like to. Okay, thanks a lot. That was Chubb Stark.
Who?
You know, Stark, bartender over at the Yellow Cat.
Oh, yeah. What's he want?
The guy came into his place last night. He was carrying a pretty big roll. Threw it around. Bought drinks for the house.
Uh-huh.
Got kind of loaded. Did some talking about how easy he'd pick up the dough. He just walked in again this morning.
Sound like anything to you?
Chubb says he's about 6 foot. Black hair.
Yeah.
Scar on his forehead.
Another cup of coffee, Sally?
I better not, Mary.
I thought you liked my coffee.
Oh, I love it.
What is it?
Coffee stains my teeth something dreadful. I don't want anyone to see my smile anymore. It's so embarrassing.
Why, Sally, I've got just the thing. It's Pearly White's toothpaste.
Pearly White's toothpaste?
It will get rid of those coffee stains in a jiff. Just brush your teeth with Pearly White's toothpaste twice a day, and you'll have the prettiest smile in town.
Really, Mary?
There's nothing better for getting your teeth their whitest. My dentist recommended it to me. Trust me, I've used it for years, and it really works.
I have always wondered how you keep your teeth so bright, Mary.
My husband and the children brush with Pearly White's toothpaste too. They love the minty fresh flavor.
Where can I buy Pearly White's toothpaste?
Every drugstore carries it. If I were you, I'd buy 2 or 3 tubes for the whole family. You won't regret it. Sally, where are you going?
To the nearest drugstore to buy Pearly White's toothpaste. You're a lifesaver, Mary.
Coffee again next week?
You bet.
Pearly White's toothpaste is the only toothpaste you and your family will ever need. It contains fluoride to prevent cavities and is recommended by most dentists across the country. With our patent and sparkling crystals polish away stains, you'll have the best and brightest smile around. Brush twice daily, and soon you'll have Pearly White with Pearly White's toothpaste. Come get some today.
Frank and I drove out to the Yellow Cat Bar in Figueroa. Chubb Stark, the bartender, pointed out a husky man sitting in the corner booth. We went over to talk to him.
Stand up.
Huh?
We're police officers. Stand up.
Okay.
You can sit down again.
Something eating you guys?
What's your name?
Why?
Come on, what is it?
Portlong. Ralph Portlong.
Where do you live, Portlong?
Hotel. Around the corner.
How long you been staying there?
Since last night.
Before that?
Back east. I just got in town yesterday.
Whereabouts back east?
What kind of a roust is this?
Whereabouts?
All over. Chicago, Cleveland, all over.
What kind of business you in?
Unemployed.
You got any money?
Some.
How much?
I ain't no vag if that's what you're getting at.
How much?
$100, maybe 150.
Where'd you get it?
Borrowed it.
From whom?
A pal.
In L.A.?
Chicago.
What's his name?
Johnson. Cliff Johnson.
Address?
I don't know. He moves around. Same as I do.
How are you going to pay him back if you don't know where he lives?
We'll bump into each other.
When was it you got in town, Portlong?
I told you yesterday.
What time?
6 o'clock, somewhere in there.
Yesterday morning?
Last night.
You're sure of that?
Yeah.
How did you come? Train?
Car.
Your own car?
Hitched a ride.
Just where were you yesterday afternoon?
Riding into L.A.
All afternoon?
Yeah.
What was the driver's name?
How should I know? I've been hitching for the last week. Must have rode with 20 different guys.
You don't remember the one you were with yesterday?
Uh-uh.
You ever been arrested, Portlong?
Nothing serious.
Tell us about it.
Drunk, that's all.
Where was this?
Ohio. When I was a kid.
Anything else?
Some speeding tickets.
You ever been arrested in California?
Never been in California.
First trip, huh?
Yeah. And you ain't exactly making me feel welcome either.
You know an apartment house called the Topeka Arms?
Whereabouts?
6th and Olympic
Where's that?
in LA.
Can't you get nothing straight? I ain't never been here before.
Uh-huh.
Now, how about giving me an answer? Why the roust?
Come on, let's go.
What for?
We'll show you the sights.
For instance,
City Hall. Frank and I took the suspect into custody for further questioning. 12:16 p.m., we ran the name Ralph Portland through the R&I. They had nothing on him. We put out an APB with this description stating that it was in our custody. The bulletin requested any information about the suspect and was marked Attention Chicago PD and Cleveland Police Department. 2:18 p.m., we again interviewed Portland. He insisted he had not arrived in Los Angeles until 6 o'clock the previous evening and refused to say anything more. 4:06 p.m., we received replies to our APB in Portland. Chicago reported 2 convictions for grand theft, auto, and Cleveland reported 1 conviction for burglary, 2nd degree. We telephoned Ms. Dumbetter and arranged for her to attend a special show-up at the main jail. 6:17 p.m. The show-up was completed, and Frank and I took the victim back to our office.
You're absolutely sure it isn't the same man?
My goodness gracious, I ought to know.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't see how you could have made such a mistake.
He fits your description, even the scar.
But I told you it was a ziggity-zag.
Uh-huh.
This man's scar is entirely different.
Oh,
And his hair is wrong, too.
is that so?
The other man had gray in it, right across here.
I thought you said he was fairly young.
A body doesn't have to be old to get gray. Why, I've been gray ever since I had my appendix out. And I was only 34.
Yes, ma'am. We'll have you taken home now.
It really is a shame
Ma'am?
that you arrested that poor fellow. Tis, tis, tis. When he hasn't done anything.
Burglary. Friday. Yeah? Yeah. That's right. Oh. When did you get it? I see. No, not yet. Sure. Will you notify him? Okay. I guess we don't need to feel too sorry for Portland.
What do you mean, Joe?
Another answer on our APB.
Oh?
You were right, Miss Dumbetter. He couldn't have been your burglar.
I told you so, didn't I?
He was in Needless yesterday afternoon, hitching a ride.
Yeah?
Slugged the driver. Ralph Portland was held pending arrival of authorities from Needles. The investigation of the apartment house burglary continued. 2 more suspects were brought in for questioning. Both men succeeded in establishing alibis for the time of the crime. Monday, May 23rd, 1:48 p.m. Frank and I were on our way back to the office from lunch.
How was your pie?
Okay,
Just okay?
it was all right.
Lemon meringue, huh?
Yeah,
Should have had apple.
uh-huh.
I told you, Joe. Stick with apple. You can't go wrong.
The lemon was fine.
You didn't finish it.
I was full.
Sure. Well, someday you'll learn.
Learn what?
Apple pie's always safe. You can't louse it up. Even a bad cook.
I get a little tired of it once in a while, that's all.
No reason you should. You can switch it around so many different ways.
Uh-huh.
Cheese, a la mode, hot sauce. No reason to get tired of apple, Joe.
Sure.
Hey, Joe,
Yeah?
call for you while you were out.
Oh,
She wants you to call back. Here's the number.
thanks.
Sure.
Bessie Maxon.
Who's she?
I don't know. Mrs. Maxon, this is the police department, Sergeant Friday. Yes, that's right. Yes, we were the ones who... Yes, ma'am. I see. Yes. I guess we can. Is something wrong? Oh, you're sure of that? All right, right away. Thanks for calling. Bye. Miss Dumbetter's sister. She just got back from Oxford.
Yeah?
Says it never happened.
Huh?
The burglary. Says her sister made it up. Frank and I drove out to the Topeka Arms, went up to apartment number 8. It was 2:17 when we got there.
Somebody's coming.
Yeah,
Well, what is it?
Mrs. Maxon,
That's right. That's right.
my name's Friday. I just spoke to you over the phone.
Oh, yes, yes, of course.
This is my partner, Frank Smith.
Oh, how do you do? Please come inside.
Yes, ma'am.
I just don't know what to say. I suppose it is all my fault for going out of town. I never should have left Martha alone. I might have known she'd be up to something.
Are you absolutely sure about this, Mrs. Maxon?
About what?
That there wasn't any burglary?
Huh. Never in a million years.
Your sister gave us all the details.
Play acting. That's all it was. Play acting. She's done it all her life.
I see.
You mean Miss Dumbetter isn't,
My sister is as sane as you are, if that's what you're driving at.
Then why did she tell us that story?
I haven't the vaguest notion. She simply won't give me any explanation.
Did she tell you about the burglary?
Certainly not. Certainly not. She knows better than to hand me any of her cock and bull stories. I can see right through them.
Who did you tell about it?
When I got home this morning, everybody in the building was discussing it. The news was in all the papers. Mrs. Parker saved the clippings for me.
Uh-huh. Well, just what is it that makes you so sure your sister was lying?
In the first place, Martha never had $300 in her whole life.
I see.
And in the second place, if the story is true, why won't she face me? Why is she hiding?
Hiding?
The minute I told her I was going to call you, she locked herself in the bathroom.
Oh,
She's been there for 2 hours now. She simply refuses to come out.
well, we want to talk to her if we can.
I'll try again. The fact that you're here may have some influence.
think we're getting a runaround, Joe?
Sounds that way.
Yeah.
Martha, you come out here this instant. Martha Dunbetter, do you hear me? The policemen want to talk to you. Now you come out. The police are here.
I won't ever come out.
I never heard of such childishness. You see, I'm not able to do a thing with her.
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe if you speak to her, she'll come to her senses.
Okay.
My own sister carrying on like this. I don't know how I'll ever be able to hold my head up again. Scandalous.
Miss Dunbetter, this is Sergeant Friday. Miss Dunbetter, will you please come out so I can talk to you? Miss Dunbetter.
Well, it's about time. Whatever were you thinking of, Martha? What got into you?
I am not speaking to you, Bessie.
Let's go in the other room. Be easier to talk there.
Yes, sir.
Not speaking to me, huh? Well, two can play at that game, and I assure you, I won't be the one who suffers.
Do you want to sit down? All right, Miss Dunbetter, can we clear this thing up now? Your sister says there wasn't any burglary.
And just how would she know she wasn't here, was she?
I know because I know you.
Huh.
And I know you never had $300 to your name.
I did too.
Where'd you get it? Where'd you get it?
It's none of your business.
How about it, Miss Dunbetter? Did you have $300? Well,
I never said it was exactly 300. Not to the penny.
$3 would be more like it.
There happen to be a few things you don't know about, including my savings.
A likely story. You never saved a penny in your life.
What about my dime bank?
I shook it just the other day.
I'll thank you to keep your hands off my property.
Savings indeed. If I didn't pay most of the expenses around here, you'd starve to death.
I managed quite well before you moved in on me, Bessie, and I was perfectly happy living alone. As a matter of fact, I preferred that arrangement.
Maybe you'd like to try it again.
Maybe I would. I'm sure I'd be money ahead.
Ha!
Don't you me, Bessie Maxon. You ought to see the way she eats. Gobble, 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 she shovels it down.
Stuff and nonsense. I don't have any more appetite than a bird.
Birds don't nip the cooking sherry.
Martha Dunbetter, how can you say such a thing?
Because I know it's true. I marked the bottle.
Well, whatever I do, I don't fib to the police like some people I could name.
Well, Miss Dunbetter?
I may have exaggerated a speck.
Uh-huh.
I didn't mean to do any harm.
Did you know it's against the law to file a false police report?
Against the law?
There, you see, you're going to jail. I knew it would happen. I knew that sooner or later you'd disgrace us all.
Why'd you do it? You must have had a reason.
I won't tell you. Not in front of her, I won't.
Oh, would you mind waiting in the other room for a couple of minutes, Miss Maxon?
I most certainly would.
We'd appreciate it, ma'am.
Oh, very well, very well. You'd think I was the criminal around here.
All right, Miss Dunbetter, go ahead.
It's very difficult to explain.
Uh-huh.
You see, it was all on account of her, Bessie.
Go on.
It started when we were little girls. Just because she was older, she was always lording it over me. Mama and Daddy always gave her everything first. Hand-me-downs, that's all I got. Bessie's hand-me-downs. Then when we grew up, I couldn't push myself very much. She was just the opposite, the belle of the ball. She had her pick of all the young gentlemen in town. The only time they'd take me out was when Bessie was busy. And don't think she didn't let me know that I was second choice. The only reason she married Horace was because he took a fancy to me. Well, I had my pride too. I wouldn't settle for her leftovers. That's why I stayed single.
I see.
The least she could have done was name one of her little girls after. After all, I am her only sister.
You still haven't told us why you reported the burglary, Miss Dunbetter.
I am telling you.
Yes, ma'am.
It was on account of her birthday. That was the last straw. She hasn't talked about anything else for months and months. Just because she's 80 years old, you'd think she was the Queen of Romania. Her pictures in the paper, people making a fuss about her. Well, I made up my mind that for once in my life, someone was going to make a fuss about me. And to tell you the truth, I'm not a bit sorry I did it. I mean, I guess I should be sorry, but I'm not. I really enjoyed myself. All those questions you asked me, like I was somebody. And my name was in the newspapers too. First time it ever happened. It's kind of strange when you think about it, to live 79 years without ever seeing your name in print. But that wasn't the best part.
Ma'am?
The best part was Bessie not being able to horn in and take all the credit. Oh, I knew you'd find me out sooner or later, but I didn't care. I sure had the laugh on her. All the time she was in Oxnard being partied, I was having a little party of my own.
You know, you didn't need to put us through all this, Miss Dunbetter. You're almost 80 yourself.
It's over a year away. When you're my age, you can't be sure of anything.
Yes, ma'am.
Besides, When I'm 80, Bessie'll still be ahead.
Ma'am?
She'll be going on 90.
The story you have just heard is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
On May 26th, a hearing was held in the office of Perry Thomas, city attorney. In a moment, the results of that hearing. Due to the advanced age of Miss Martha Dumbetter, and because of her assurances that she would never repeat her actions, no charges were filed against her.
Better schools build better communities. Join and work with your fellow citizens who are actively seeking to improve educational conditions.
You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police, W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors, Captain Jack Donahue, Sergeant Mighty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Brasher. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Virginia Gregg, Jack Crucian, Helen Cleve. Script by Frank Burr. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
Watch an entirely different Dragnet case history each week on your local NBC television station. Please check your newspapers for the day and time.
One man stands between death and 10 people. On TV's new dramatic programs, Mr. Citizen next week. See Edward Binns star in The True Story. Terror on Jack Rabbit Hill. Check your local TV listings for Mr. Citizen.
Hear your Dragnet next week, same time, same station.
Lux Radio Theater presents Barry Sullivan in Rope of Sand, tonight on the NBC Radio Network.
Thanks again, folks, for tuning in to our radio play homages. This is Wendy Spurgeon here, and with a very, very special thank you to Chris Wellman, our audio engineer at Mystic Way Productions. It's been an absolute pleasure to bring these classic radio plays to you. Enjoy.